Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's going on?
It's Tony.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are Lido Loca, and this is the Lido Loca podcast. It's episode 2.
It's Deuce. Welcome back to the poop episode. What?
The poop episode.
I don't know. Every time I think of Deuce, like, that's all I can think
Every time you think of Deuce, you think of poop?
Well, I mean, does your mind not work like that? Anytime someone says, like, certain words,
My mind doesn't work.
It reminds me of something else.
That is true. I am very associative with my memories. For some reason, you do. I mean, I get it. It's popular.
I mean, I think of a lot of things, right? Like when people say deuce,
yes.
I'm like, oh, poop. And then I say goodbye in my head because people say deuces. You know, and then I think of your birthday because it's deuce.
So poop is first on your list. Very nice. Well, we are going on the poop cruise.
I mean, can you really call it the poop cruise anymore?
It's been called the poop cruise quite a bit.
Well, when it was the Triumph.
Right.
It's renamed. It's refurbished. So we need to rename it
on this podcast.
It's non-poop cruise.
We are saying that no longer should the Carnival Sunrise or the ex-Carnival Triumph, no longer shall it be referred to as the poop cruise.
Well, I mean, we're going to still bring our poopery along, right?
I'm going to be thinking about it. Like, I got to do the ship tour when it first came out. I was walking around trying to see if it smelled like poo. Now, it wasn't cruising. It was just parked there in Norfolk, Virginia. But I tell you what, there will be a smell test going on when we go on. Are you going to walk the decks with me and see if it smells like poo?
Not walking the decks and smelling for poo.
Why not?
Because, like, you know.
That sounds like a good time.
I mean, we're not the poop investigators.
What if I brought flowers? It could be like a date walk. Like a poop walk.
Like a cakewalk?
You're the one that brought it up, honestly. And can we talk about poopery? Are you bringing poopery?
I mean, we've been married long enough that it doesn't
This
matter.
poopery is a disaster now. If you guys don't know what poopery is, this is a way to mask the poop smell.
It's fantastic.
Supposedly it's good.
I mean, it does.
Supposedly it's good for cruise ships, but I don't know if we used it wrong, but every time I went into, you pre-spray the toilet. So you're supposed to do it before the activity happens.
Right.
And I think the way that you did it is like you were making poopery bombs. Like you would squirt it in the toilet and then you would close the lid. And then when I would sit down to do my business, I would be attacked by poopery.
Well, I think because I had to do it that way because you would not get, I was going to say, like, you know, you did not get the toilet ready. So what is the sense of having the poopery? No, but listen, I think that...
I don't want to have to work at going to the bathroom.
No, I think that I picked out, like, one of the grossest scents.
Why are we talking about poop?
Well, because you said welcome back to the second episode.
Yeah, I said...
See, that's what you should have said was the second episode.
I did.
Oh, and I was the one that thought of deuce.
The deuce. Well, Jenny...
Sorry, folks. Sorry,
yes.
locafam.
Welcome back to the second episode of the podcast.
How exciting, right?
Very exciting. We got a lot of great feedback from episode 1 of the podcast. Thanks, everybody, for the love.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody, for the reviews on iTunes and on the other platforms. Since last week, we have shown up on a few more podcasting platforms.
How exciting. Which ones?
iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on Google Play, we're on Spotify. The major platforms we're on.
Are we on iHeart?
iHeart, you have to have 2 months worth of shows before you can submit to iHeart.
Well, we're gonna have to do that.
It'd be cool to be on iHeart.
I love iHeart.
I know a lot of people listen to iHeart. So you should be able to find us on your major podcasting platforms. If you can't, let us know and we will try to get added to those. But yeah, so the podcast is a real thing. We got people listening in their ears. And this is also a video podcast. If you are new here and you just found us, the audio version, if you want to see these faces that Jenny is making at me as we record this podcast.
I don't make any faces. I roll the eyes.
Go over to YouTube to the Lido Loca podcast channel. I'll leave a link in the show notes and go over there and you can see this thing live. And if you want to see what it's like for us when we go cruising, or if you have, we do cruise tips, cruise news, that's on our main channel, Lido Loca Cruising. So we would invite you to all of those places, and then join the Loca fam. It don't cost anything. I know when people hear the word join, sometimes they think that means something. Join the Loca fam. That's our Facebook group, the Lido Loca Cruising Community. 9,300 people over there talking cruising. So if you have cruise questions or you want to talk cruising, join the Loca fam.
Well, and it's pretty cool over there, right? There's a lot of experienced and seasoned cruisers, and there's a lot of first timers, and we all just sit there and chit chat and give some good advice to fellow cruisers.
It's a great place, right?
Yeah, it is. You know what my favorite part is over there?
What is your favorite part?
Safety first pictures.
Safety first pictures.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a deep cut. If you are brand new here, you have no idea what that means. We made a video a while ago talking about how you could play Titanic on a cruise ship, right? And we should talk about Titanic in this episode.
Oh, boy.
How to play Titanic on a cruise ship. And one of the things that I'm pretty sure Jenny thought of was that you should put on your life preserver. You should get in the shower of your cruise cabin, and you should turn the water on.
No.
To play Titanic.
No.
Now, that has evolved into what we call the safety first picture. So the Loca fam, they're pretty good about it. They will put their life jacket on. They'll stand in the shower. They don't turn the water on. I don't think they're fully committed to it. They don't turn the water on, but they will take a picture in their shower. There's a whole album on the Lido Loca Cruising community called Safety First. Really, it's a good way. I
think how it really started too, right, was the life jacket.
Right.
Hey, throw it on just so you know how to put it on.
Yeah, when we went cruising, I was shocked that I would go to all of these safety drills and I'd never actually had to put on the life jacket.
Right.
And I'm like, the time that I want to learn how to put on the life jacket is not when the ship has trouble. And so we'll share it with you guys. One of the things that you should do when you go on a cruise on a ship that you've never been on before, find your life jacket if you can and try that thing on when you're not panicked. So maybe that when there is an issue, it will be easier.
Well, and if you're a long-time cruiser, there was a time that you had to bring that life jacket to the muster drill.
Had to wear it.
You had to wear it. You had to learn how to put it on. And, it was more of a hassle, right? Because then you had to bring it back to your room, and it was a lot. So yeah, take that time out in the beginning of the cruise and just, learn how to put that on if you have never dealt with one.
Yeah, try on your life jacket, stand in the shower, take a picture. Safety first.
Yeah, because sometimes every cabin has them in different locations.
Yeah, I have no idea where our life jacket was in the Vista. I think it said
underneath the sofa.
I think the sign said under the bed.
Oh yeah, that's right, under the bed.
So I would have felt bad when I grabbed my life jacket and you were still looking for yours. So it would have.
That's probably not what would have happened.
That's not what would have happened.
No.
That's what you would have done.
I would have given you the door.
The door. Exactly. Exactly.
There was room on that door.
Yes. Back to Titanic. That movie is so... I love the movie, right? So when that movie came out, I was completely fascinated with how they replicated the Titanic. Mm-hmm. And then I went and watched that movie, and I was still fascinated about how they replicated the Titanic.
Right.
But what I was not fascinated by was this dumb Jack and Rose love story.
It was so beautiful, though.
It made no sense.
Are you serious?
Do you remember the time, spoiler alert, this movie's 20 years old, there was the time where Jack was handcuffed in waist-deep water, northern Atlantic water,
right,
for like an hour. He would have died of hypothermia, Jenny. There was no time for Rose to go down there and get him out of there. That's ridiculous.
See, that's the problem sometimes that you have. You can't be so literally thinking. You have to just go with the flow. So it's made up.
They went through all this trouble to replicate the Titanic, and then they gave this
love story.
And then she killed him. She pushed him off. There was enough room. You could have got a small family on that board.
He loved her enough to let her live.
They go through all that trouble to get that stupid diamond.
And she never lived the same.
She threw it. She threw the diamond over.
Forever.
She threw the diamond overboard
because it was to just bury that chapter. It wasn't to get rid of the memories of
95
Jack.
years old, man. Okay, look. The big question is...
Was the granddaughter Jack's?
Of course. Do you want to see that movie when you're on a cruise ship?
Probably not.
I love that movie, really.
I mean, I love that movie. I remember my brother one Christmas buying it for me on VHS tapes.
Wow.
You're
old.
Well, and it was a double tape because it was such a long movie. You know what? So many of these cruise lines have, the movies on demand. Is that what it's called? Yeah, on demand.
Like in the room?
In the rooms. Yeah. So if you want to watch something like that, like I would watch that in the room. I don't want to see that, on the Lido, on the big screen. It's just like watching Jaws.
Right. I mean, could you imagine that? Like you just sneak over to, say you're on Carnival, you sneak over and you grab yourself a Guy's Burger, or you're on Royal and you come out of the buffet there and you walk right out onto the pool deck or the Lido and you see the Titanic breaking in half while you're in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, I mean that
would be disconcerting, I think.
I would think so too, right? Like and then you have to see Jack. Bye, Rose. I love you, Rose. I'll always love you.
All right, so I'm assuming if we don't want to see the Titanic, we don't want to see like Poseidon Adventure, which is a cruise ship sinking. I don't guess I want to see anything sinking. The Perfect Storm. I don't want to see. I
don't want to see any of that.
And I don't want to see Jaws anywhere. I mean,
not even on a cruise ship. I don't want to see that thing anywhere. Is right.
Look, I saw Jaws when I was a kid, and I have a lifelong fear of swimming in water that I can't see the bottom of because of that movie.
Yeah, and we probably shouldn't have watched that at that age,
right?
So I don't like to swim in water, and I don't like the feel on the bottom of my feet. So I think that how are you in water that you can't see if you have water shoes on?
I don't like it. I don't like being able to not see, but yeah. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm better with it now. And I've gone back and I revisited Jaws. It's a great movie. I don't understand why the mayor didn't close down the beach, but it's a great movie. I can watch it now.
Because it's a movie.
But
it's not literal.
Look, I'm looking around. I'm scanning.
It's not reality.
Every time I'm swimming in the ocean these days, I'm still scanning.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that a dorsal fin? What's going on? And look, the odds are forever in your favor that you're not going to be attacked by a shark. But the easiest way not to get attacked by a shark is not to get in the water, honestly.
Yeah, but you have to enjoy it also. Like Half Moon Cay, didn't you enjoy that?
No, because who knew what was going to swim up on you at Half Moon Cay? It's very nice there.
Well, I mean,
Megan's Bay is very nice there.
I guess you could see it coming.
There was plenty. Yeah.
Which way is better? Do you want to see it coming or you don't?
I don't want to have to outswim a shark, but I don't want to see. Yeah, I don't guess I want to see Jaws on the.
No, I don't want to see. I don't know how we got onto the Half Moon Cay and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't want to see any of those kind of movies. You know what? I think that. What kind of movie would you want to see on there?
I tell you what, we've seen some superhero movies on there. It was cool watching Wonder Woman on there. This last cruise, they showed some really good movies, like the Bohemian Rhapsody was there. I'm not really big on sitting out and watching the movies. I'm very specific about how I like to watch a movie. I like it to be like, I like the sound to envelop me. I like it to be super dark and super quiet. And the cruise ship's very cool. I mean, it's very neat that way, but to me, it's not like my optimal movie watching experience. Now, however, on the Vista, they did have an optimal movie watching experience, the IMAX.
Oh, that is right.
And apparently it's not popular enough that they're going to keep doing that. So
I know, that's so sad because it was so fantastic.
The Panorama is the next ship there in that Vista class, and they're doing away with the IMAX, and they're putting a trampoline park there, but I enjoyed watching the IMAX movie. I enjoyed paying extra money to watch the IMAX movie. I saw two movies. I know you saw one. We saw the IMAX Panda movie,
which was fantastic.
It was amazing. And then I saw the new Terminator movie. The movie was not great. I have problems with the Terminator. I'm not going to go into it right now. But the experience of watching the movie on the cruise ship was very cool, watching it in IMAX.
Well, and I think that's the beauty of the cruise ship, right? Because everything that you love to do on land, you could do on the cruise ship.
So what about
it just puts a much cooler factor on it.
What about the critic that would say, why would you go on a cruise ship to watch a movie?
Why not?
I know, why not? That's what I'm saying. Why not? It's so funny. Like when people get uptight about this stuff. Why would you do this on a cruise? Yeah, why not? I think that is the answer.
Yeah.
I do what I want. I paid my money.
Well, and that's it, right? On a cruise ship, everybody cruises differently, right?
Yeah.
So for the critic that says, "Oh, you should be doing this and you should be no. I'm going to do what I want to do on a cruise ship, and everybody cruises differently. You know, if we buy a drink package, if we don't buy a drink package, if we go on an excursion or we stay on a ship, if we eat in the main dining room or we eat in the buffet, it's up to you what you want to do. If I want to pay for a movie, right, I want to pay for a movie. And it's not like it was super expensive, right? I think
$11.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what you pay, I guess, on land.
Yeah, and they had a snack bar. It was really cool. It was like being at the movies. One of the only places on the cruise ship you could get a fountain soda.
You see, now that's a big deal. Yeah, right. Unless you're at a bar.
Not the same though. Like the soda out of the gun. They give you cans on. They pour it out of a can. I think
okay.
on. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely right. This is what I deal with, folks. Jenny says this is what I'm going to do, and if you don't like it, lump it.
Well, no, that's the beauty though, right? Because we can come together, we can go do our own thing, and I know that you're not bored, I'm not bored. We're just enjoying our life, right? You know, live your life.
I do think so.
Live your best life.
Ooh, let's coin a phrase. Cruising is vacation without compromise.
What?
How about that? Maybe we should copyright that. Vacation without compromise. And it's that really does sum it up. Everybody can do what they want to do. We decide when we want to hang out. We decide when we want to do something different. And you don't ever have to do what I want to do, and I don't ever have to do what you want to do. Now, sometimes we do that, but you don't have to.
Right.
Which is kind of cool.
But because we're so in tune with each other.
Are we?
We are.
Are we, Dr. Phil? We're so in tune with each other.
I mean, not that I compromise, but I know that you enjoy, I don't know, some of the entertainment that I may not enjoy.
That is compromise, Jenny. That's
not really for me, because I know I want to spend some time with you.
Yeah.
So that's not really compromising, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to come do what you're doing just to hang out with you.
Well, whenever you
and see your happiness. That makes me happy.
Whenever you're dragging me around and I got that fake smile, you know the fake smile, right? That's compromise. Yeah, I'd love to see what's in
goodness. I see that smile every day, all day long.
I'd love to know what's in the $10 shop. What?
I love that $10 shop.
They got purses on sale?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? Our very first cruise, and it still makes me mad, is that $10 shop. I should have got that over the shoulder kind of pouch.
How many times do you have to hear a story before you just go, I know this story, before you even say it? Tell me, Jenny, should we have gotten that pouch?
We should have. And you know what? Heidi and Chris, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, your brother, sister-in-law, and they bought it. I should have bought it too.
I love going to the $10 purse shopping.
No, you don't.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
I see a fake smile on that face.
But yeah, so.
But listen, it's like the dollar store.
Cruising.
Right, but it's the dollar store on a cruise ship.
Cruising. Vacation without compromise.
There you go. Ooh.
Without compromise.
Whatever. So does that mean that you're not going to come hang out with me? Because you don't have to compromise.
I always hang out with you, Jenny. Because I love you.
Oh, well, I love you too. So thanks for compromising for my happiness as well.
Sounds a little salty.
It's not all about you.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't expect to get attacked. So.
It's not about going to every show.
I guess since you're already in a mood, can we talk about something?
A mood? Me?
Can we talk about
Never.
something where you were slightly frustrated?
Oh, goodness, what?
All right. So normally we are super good. So I say that there are 3 pain points when it comes to cruising.
Okay.
Embarkation.
Absolutely.
Muster drill.
Yeah.
And disembarkation.
Yes.
And sometimes getting off at the ports, that can be a little painful.
Yeah, sometimes if it's not properly ran.
So let's think about our last cruise.
Okay.
Carnival Vista embarkation. Pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty good.
Muster drill.
Where was our muster drill?
That's right. That's how easy it was. You
Yeah.
don't even remember it. It was in the Limelight Lounge.
Limelight Lounge,
Getting off on the ports.
Great.
Super easy. That's 3 out of 4, kids.
Yeah.
Now, all we have to do is put a tick box by the disembarkation, and we got a perfect Score of 4. Jenny, how was the disembarkation on the Carnival Vista?
It was horrible.
Mistakes were made.
We made some mistakes.
Were made.
Absolutely.
So just to give you a little bit of our history cruising with Carnival Cruise Lines, every time before this cruise,
we've had Faster the Fun.
Faster the Fun. If you don't know what that is, that you can pay some money and they let you on the cruise ship and they let you in your room with priority.
It's almost like paying for loyalty.
A little bit. Don't say that. People will be mad. You can't buy loyalty. I've tried. No, but Faster the Fun, one of the best advantages is that you can get off the cruise ship as early as you want.
Right.
That's probably the big takeaway. We didn't have it. It's not, they limit the amount that they sell. We didn't get it. And so we had to make the big decision. This was a Lido Loca group cruise. We had more luggage than normal.
Right.
And one of the big decisions that you have to make, probably the first decision you have to make for disembarkation, is whether you're going to carry your luggage off yourself or whether you're going to let the cruise line carry the luggage off for you. So when you carry it off yourself, they call that self-assist.
Right. And normally I like to do that, right? Because you're kicking me off the cruise ship. Let me just get off now.
Right. The cool thing, like we said, Faster to Fun, you can get off as early as you want. And if you can manage your bags, you can do it.
Right.
And we invested in suitcases that have 4 wheels on them that we can stack our backpacks on.
Right.
We can handle some luggage.
We can.
We figured out how to handle some luggage. And so every time we've done the carry your own luggage off the cruise ship, this time, because we didn't have Faster the Fun, and look, we didn't go to that.
The policy has changed a little bit. Their process.
I think it's changed, or I just don't think we ever knew it because we never did it this way.
No, they used to leave the tags in the room.
That's true. There used to be tags in the room. So it was the day before. It was like 2 days before we were to get off the ship. And I looked at you and I said, hey, how are we supposed to get off the ship? And you were like, I don't know. And I'm like, I haven't seen the tags. And you're like, yeah, I haven't seen the tags either. So we started asking around. We missed the meeting that you could go to and they tell you how to get off the ship. There's a pro tip. If you don't know how to get off the cruise ship, go to the meeting where they tell you how to get off the cruise ship. Take
that time. One person from your party, just do it.
So here was our option. We didn't have Faster the Fun. That means we could not self-assist early. So we had to decide whether to self-assist or to let the cruise line carry our luggage off. I don't think I really understood that I could still self-assist.
No, you didn't.
And so we decided to let the cruise line take our luggage off. So what they do is you leave your luggage outside your room the night before you disembark, and then you have to put a tag on it, and these tags have numbers on it. Well, the tags are first come, first serve, and the lower number tags get to get off the cruise ship before the higher number tags. That makes sense when I say it out loud, but that day I did not really get that concept.
No.
We decided that we would let the cruise line take... Look, she's like, no. We decided we'd let the cruise line take our luggage off. And so about, I don't know, like 8 o'clock, I'm like, oh, I should go get a tag. Well, when I got up there wasn't any tag number 5. I think like tag 1, some of those other things are reserved for priority, people that do have legit loyalty. And there wasn't like tag 5 or 8 or anything. It was like tag 29. 29. And so that meant that we would be getting...
And that started at 1.
Didn't start at 1. It started like at 10 though, which is pretty late to get off the cruise. Oh, the numbers started
at 1. Started at 1.
29. So I grabbed those tags and it changed our schedule a little bit. For the first time ever, I think we packed our bags before we went to dinner at the MDR.
Right.
Which that's always fun.
Is it a schedule or a schedule?
It's a schedule, depending where we're at. So my favorite thing on the cruise is not only the pain points for me, not only embarkation, muster, debarkation, getting off at port, but dealing with unpacking and repacking the room. Because somebody here is a maniac about when to unpack.
So...
As soon as we get on the ship, Jenny is unpacking, even before we get to the room.
Well, because this is how I feel. I feel like we're only there for a certain amount of time, right?
Yes.
For 7 days.
Yes.
Most of the time.
Yes.
I don't want to live those 7 days looking for stuff in a suitcase.
Yes.
I just don't.
Yes.
And I feel like the sooner I can get it done, the less time I'm going to waste.
I agree with you. I like unpacking as soon as possible. I don't know if I like unpacking before I've had lunch. You know, like if I'm hangry because I've gone through this stressful embarkation process, what's another half hour before we... Why? So we do carry-ons.
Right.
And most of the time we'll check a bag.
Right.
I'm okay with unpacking the 2 carry-ons and the check-in bag all at the same time. I don't have to unpack my carry-on and then go through the stress of unpacking that big suitcase again. But that's what we do.
That's right.
We have several unpacking rituals. I can't complain. Okay, so it's not about that. It's about we repacked our bags and we set them out in the hall, and who knows what happens to them at that point. I have been so leery to set my bag out in the hall because one of our earliest cruises, we got on an elevator.
Oh my goodness,
we were leaving the
horrible.
casino like at 11 o'clock at night, and there was somebody's bag completely open by itself on the elevator, and there was clothes strewn everywhere. Somebody had gotten somebody's bag, they'd gotten on the elevator, and they'd rifled through that bag. And at that moment, I said, I'm never leaving my bag outside the door in the middle of the night.
And you know what? Up until this point, we never have.
We never have. And that was one of the motivations. But, you know, we put the 29 tag on it.
We never have, and we never will again, I don't think.
It was nice.
Well, the group cruise, it was nice, right? Not to have to lug all that stuff. I get it. Yeah.
So we put the bag out, and it disappears. We put the bag out like at 6 o'clock. You had to have it out by 11, so it's just living outside the door. Who knows what's going to happen to it?
Right.
And then when we get back later on, it's gone. So we go to bed not knowing whether our bag is going to be there.
You just hope that you see it again tomorrow.
Just hope and pray that you see it tomorrow. And it was cool. We went to sleep. We got up. We didn't really set an early alarm. A lot of times when we leave with self-assist, with Faster the Fun, we're getting up at 5:30. We're getting up at 6 o'clock. We're off the cruise ship very quick, but you have to get up early. Not that day. We woke up kind of at a reasonable time.
Just the laxy-daisy.
Yep. Got dressed, went down and had breakfast. It was nice.
It was nice.
It was super nice. And
it was chill. It was relaxing. And you know what? If we had an airplane to catch at like 4 p.m, it would have been perfect.
The challenge for us that day, the thing that was looming over us, is we had to drive from Galveston, Texas to Birmingham, Alabama, about 11-hour drive.
Right.
And so that would have been a good time to get off the ship early because we had and most of the time we drive and we have that drive that we have to contend with.
Yeah, but most of the time we're in our car by 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yes.
In the morning.
Right. And so while we're enjoying this chill breakfast, in my mind, I'm like, oh, time's ticking away.
Right.
I got to get off this cruise ship. So we had all of our
drive 11 hours. I got to find, hopefully my bag is on the other side.
And I had a breakfast strategy, Jenny. So we went down to the Ocean Plaza, I believe it's called, and they had a nice little breakfast buffet set up there. They had self-serve bacon, which I'm a big fan of. They had some nice pastries. They had some juices. We rolled in there probably like 8:30. We sat down. We ate a little breakfast, and at 9 o'clock, I said, you know what? If I sit here long enough, I could have another breakfast before I get off the cruise ship.
Oh, was that your strategy?
That was my strategy because we weren't scheduled because we had these crazy big tags till like 10 o'clock. And so
and it was also next to the coffee shop.
Coffee bar was there, so we got some coffee. And I'm like, all right, man, about 9:30, I'm going to roll over there and go replenish breakfast, get a second breakfast, the thing. And no, about 9:30, I went to do that, and it was gone. And so that was a good indicator.
They said no more.
Then I'm just sitting there waiting to get off the cruise ship. So it became less and less fun.
Right. So now in your head, you're ticking the time.
Yeah. They could have placated me with second
Couldn't go
breakfast.
back to the room if you had to go to the bathroom.
We were out of there.
Right.
Yeah. So we were looking for restrooms. So finally, about 10 o'clock, they said, hey, number 29, come on down. And we're like, all right, cool. We can't be the last ones on the cruise ship.
Yeah, and it was cool because we didn't have to fight for the elevators going up and down.
I feel like we couldn't have been the last one on the cruise ship, but there was nobody in the hallways.
Yeah,
there was nobody on the elevators, and there wasn't really anybody in line to get off the cruise ship.
I think we were at the last 200 to get off. And what is that, over 4,000 people?
4,000 people.
Yeah.
We're walking by the security person, and he's like, what's the count? And he's like, 200 left to go. And I'm like, oh, wow, we are really late off this cruise ship. But then I was like, yeah, everybody's already gone.
That's right.
So we make our way down the gangway in search of our luggage that we haven't seen in a long time.
Right.
And we pop out into the cruise terminal, and it's full of people.
Yeah, much to our dismay.
The thing was full of
packed.
people. So we leave the Vista. We actually make our way down the gangway about 10 o'clock. And it is full of people. And so there's signs everywhere. Getting the luggage was easy.
And it's full of not happy people.
People looked upset.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? We're all in the same situation. Let's be nice to each other.
Yeah, nobody was having that. Everybody was ready to get off the cruise ship. So I spot the sign that says luggage 29. Here's your luggage. So I scamper over there.
Right.
Sure enough, our luggage is there. It's made it through the night.
How beautiful. It was like reunited, and it felt so good.
It felt really good. Yeah. And so I go and I grab our luggage, and we get into this huge line, and it's a long snaking line, the length of the terminal, with the end point being U.S. Customs. So there's no getting around it. You got to go through this line to get through Customs. And so we get in this line, and that thing is barely moving. I think we stood in that line for about 10 or 15 minutes. And while we were standing in line, so the thing I love about Jenny is she is very observational. She is always quick to pick up on what's going on. She knows what's going on with everybody else. And she noticed pretty quickly that there were some people exiting a different way with the assistance of a porter.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, what are those people doing over there, Anthony?
Yeah, and then Jenny always asks those leading landmine questions like, should we get out of this line? Wonder what it would take to get us a porter. And I'm like, I don't know. Do you think we should try? All those things mean, Tony, go figure out what the deal is with the porter. That's code words. So I'm like, all right, watch.
You know what's beautiful, though, is that we've been married and together so long that you finally get me.
Yeah. You can't get away with, like, she goes, oh, what do you think the deal is with the porter? I can't get away with, like, oh, I don't know.
Because then I'll ask that same question.
What do you think the deal is?
About 4 or 5
No,
times.
It's Tony. Go see what the deal is with the porter. So I go, and man, there are porters everywhere. There's like carts coming in and grabbing luggage. Zoom, zing, bang.
I mean, they're ready. They were running.
Yeah, and I see like a line of 5 people waiting at this thing called luggage assist. And I go over there, and I'm like, all right, this looks reasonable. However, that line actually went through a doorway, and upon further investigation, there was about 30 people in this luggage assist line. And so I went back and said, hey, there's about 30 people in this line. Should we just stay in this line?
No, we just sat there for a little bit as the line was going up, right? Yeah. And we're like, all right, let's just do it.
No, that's not the way it went. Jenny was
how'd it go?
Jenny's like, I'm pretty sure that the porter's going to be faster. Like, are we really going to stay in this line? Because I'm pretty sure the porter's going to be faster.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I think we'll be okay. No, that means go get in the porter line.
Go get in the porter
line. So
line.
we get out of this huge
Tony?
line. We have to navigate all these people that are already grumpy to get out of the line. And then, Jenny stays with the luggage. This works out well. I go get in the porter line. I tell you what, it's going to be great because there's a flurry of porters. Boom, bang, boom, bang. So I'm in line about 10:15. Well, about 10:30,
it almost shut off.
It almost shut off. The line became just a trickle. And look, let's do the math here. About 10:30 is when people start coming to get on the Vista, and they need a porter. And the porter's focus had changed.
Right. Their priority became...
Yeah, from getting people out of the cruise terminal to getting people into the cruise terminal. And so... Yeah, I was still in the porter line about 10:30. Now, we did have a landmark. We had some friends with us that were on the cruise, part of the locafam, and we could see them.
Right.
And they weren't out yet. And so at least we felt better that they were ahead of us in the line, but they were still struggling with that big line. So the decision felt solid. And so finally we get a porter about 10:45. And the cool thing about the porter, you tip these guys. This is part of the process, but they have a luggage cart. They take your luggage from you, and they roll you to a special porter line that's going to help you get out of the cruise terminal.
Right.
Super excited.
Absolutely, because we were walking fast at that point.
We were walking fast. We get into the porter line, and that line is at a standstill.
Yes, and I'm like, what's going on?
Our quick exit out of the terminal.
We just want to get in that car to drive those 11 hours.
Oh, my gosh. So what had happened there is there was a lady like 3 carts in front of us who's got her luggage on the ground. She's digging through her luggage because she made it all the way up to the customs official without trying to figure out where her passport was.
Come on, people. I was not at that point. I was kind of done at that point, because there was so many people, and it just, we had just come off a beautiful time. And then I'm like, oh, we have to drive 11 hours. And then to top it off, the lady's laughing.
She was,
and you know what? To be in all fairness, at that point, I was like, "What is she laughing over? This is not a funny matter."
Yeah.
But now I look back, and she could have been nervous.
Yeah.
She could have been embarrassed.
Yeah.
And sometimes people just kind of laugh at
it serves as a cautionary tale. Very simply, before you exit,
have your documentation ready. Just like when you're embarking, and that's all you hear. In the terminal is have your documentation ready. Guess what? It's the same when you leave it. Yeah. Have it ready. What got me through a little bit? I gotta admit,
Yes.
like just when I was waiting for you to come back from the porter, right? We've never really experienced the terminal so crowded, right? And it made me kind of a little emotional, and it didn't remind me of, it made me think of my ancestors coming through Ellis Island.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just kind of brought me to, it was maybe the way the terminal and the lights were coming through and just all the people, and it just kind of calmed me a little bit. Like, hey, I am so lucky that I had the opportunity to go on a cruise, and this is okay.
I can see that. So that terminal there in Galveston, it's not like you were in an airport terminal. Like some cruise terminals, really nice, carpeted, all that stuff.
Right.
That place where you picked up your luggage and went through customs, it was like gray, right? It was concrete. It was, so I could see that. I could see you getting there. I wasn't. I was like, where's the porter? And why did I get out of the...
Jenny's going to be so mad.
Why did I get out of the line that was moving to stand in the...
Yeah, but listen, it was also hot in there, right? So could you imagine have been on that long line and the people were bumping into you and then people were cutting the line. It would have made me more crazy.
This is going to sound petty, and I didn't tell you, but when I first got in that line, there was 3 ladies, and they'd left a gap of like 8 people. So the line moved in front of them, and they didn't move. And I was like 2 people behind them, and I was asking the guy in front of me, like, are they going to close up the line? Are they going to... I was so worried that somebody was going to come jump line because they didn't want to move up.
Right.
And they just didn't want to move up.
Why not?
I don't know. And I really wanted to ask them, but I just kept talking to the guy in front of me, like, so are you sure they're in line? Because I thought maybe he didn't know that, like, he was closer to them.
Right.
And so I was like, are they in line? And he's like, oh, yeah, they're in line. And I'm like, well, why do you think they didn't move up? There's like 20 feet between them and the back of the line. He's like, I don't know. And I'm thinking, I was trying to give him some Jenny questions, like, why do you think? I was hoping that maybe he would ask them. I said, why do you think that? So finally, but they didn't stay in line. So I think the guy was wrong. And so I was just worried somebody's going to swoop in and take our spot in the porter line.
Right.
And they moved, and I just looked at the guy like, I said, hey, man, I guess they weren't in line. He's like, yeah, I guess they weren't in line. I was like, dude.
And that's it, right? That's a good thing that you bring up, right? Pay attention. Pay attention to where you are. If you're not supposed to be in that line, why were they even in that line?
Well, the problem was the stairs that came down into that terminal were right there where the line formed. So it was a little confusing, but
I see.
All's well that ends well. So we got out of there, and we immediately jumped on our shuttle bus, and the ordeal was over.
Right.
No.
Is that what happened, Tony?
No. So there in Galveston, you have to walk a little bit. We used a parking service called Discount Parking. They were great.
Right. They were great.
And we had to wait on a shuttle. Now, when we got there were a group of people waiting on a shuttle. Mm-hmm. And again, let me mention, at this point, it was after 11 o'clock. And people were coming to the cruise terminal.
We would have been on the road by now about 3 hours.
We had friends that
were in New Orleans by the time
they were in Louisiana and we still weren't on the shuttle bus.
Right.
And so the shuttle pulled up, and there's about 15, 20 people on the shuttle getting ready to go on the Carnival Vista. It's cruise day. Which is exciting. They filed off that bus so quickly, and I was just waiting for the next people to file on.
Yeah.
The problem is there was a whole trailer of luggage that they had to unload. So that was about a 20-minute process for them to unload the van. Mm-hmm. And then there was about 20 people in front of us. So there was another 20 minutes for them to load the van.
Well, and listen, you know, we go with a lot of luggage a lot of times, right?
Right.
You know, and especially with the group cruise, we had a lot of extra luggage.
Yes.
But I tell you what, by this time, I'm watching them unload all of this luggage.
Yes.
And I'm like, what do we have? The royalty in town?
And look, these guys are working hard, but everything seemed like slow motion.
Yes.
I'm like, how many more bags are you taking out of this trailer? My goodness.
It was like an endless
I wanted to help load. I felt like that would be insulting, but I was like, can I help you get this luggage out of here? So fortunately, they load up this thing with the luggage and the people. It pulls off, and then almost immediately the other one pulls up.
Right, absolutely.
And we were able to jump on that. So we get on the shuttle bus about 11:40. We're finally back to our car about 12. The parking place has a convenience store. We went and got some water or something for the road.
Right.
And we were on the road by like 12:10, 12:20. So from leaving the Vista.
4 hours later.
We left the Vista.
Than normal.
4 hours later than normal, yes. But the process, which normally takes 15 or 20 minutes, took us 2 hours and 20 minutes.
It was, yeah. I just don't even know, you know. Now, in all fairness, we never cruised out of Galveston before. We've never not had Fast of the Fun. So was it just a combination of all of these?
I think we were too comfortable. This is in hindsight, we pretty much got it down to a science. We're really good at the self-assist.
Right.
We're able to get off the cruise ship pretty easy. We're able to get in our car and get on the road pretty easy. So we took that kind of thing into it, and then the game was changed.
Right.
And then every chance that we had to make a decision, we didn't necessarily make the right decision.
Right.
So, I mean, if we could do it all over again, I would have self-assisted and got off earlier and immediately jumped in the Porter line. You know, there's just...
Yeah, but listen, now we know, and now everybody else knows.
It was Bike Week also.
It was Bike Week in Galveston, that's
so
right.
There was a lot of stuff going on.
There was traffic. It was a different debark.
It's part of that cruise life, right?
Absolutely.
And,
you just go with the flow.
At some point during that, it was like, hey, it is what it is. I mean, you know, getting
like, I'm not going to ruin my week-long, you know, beautiful time with the locafam and on the Carnival Vista just because people are being mean in the terminal.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
You know, and shame on those people that will...
Jenny, don't shame the people.
No.
Maybe they're just having a bad day.
There was a couple of people that I was just like, wow, shame on you.
Don't shame the people.
All right, I won't shame people. But it's not nice. How can I do that then? So it is not nice to cut the line.
True.
Because you think that you deserve to be, you know.
Right.
Like it was people that were trying to cut the Porter line. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that?
I did see people trying to grab porters that weren't in line.
And there was this one guy that like the security had to go over and talk to them.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was too busy waiting in line going, are these ladies going to move up? Or
Well, listen, thank you for doing that. And listen, at a time that could have been super stressful, you dealt with my anxiety and we made it out of there.
Do you think the Porter line's faster? The classic Jenny. I don't know. Probably not. Are you sure? Oh, okay. I'm not sure. Let me go get in the Porter line. Classic.
Well, listen, I classically love you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you always taking care of me.
Thank you. It's well worth it.
Oh, well, I love you.
I love you too. It makes me, so look, would it be fair to say when we were in our 20s and when we were in our 30s and maybe just a few years ago, we could be a little more hot-headed than we are today? I
mean, absolutely. I'm a totally different person than what I was in my 20s.
Do you think we would have liked cruising in our 20s?
That part of it, no. I think I would have lost my mind.
Yeah, you would have been freaking out on
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like that too. I was thinking about this the other day.
I'd be like, where do you think you're going? Don't you think you're cutting that line? I would have been one of those people, I think.
That's true. I think you would be too. I was trying to think about that the other day. Would I like cruising? So we started cruising when we were 46, just about 2.5, 3 years ago. We're going to be 50 soon.
Oh, stop.
Oh, my goodness.
Not yet, though.
But that's what I was trying to say. I enjoy cruising as somebody in my mid to late 40s. Would I enjoy cruising as a 20-year-old? There's this misconception or conception that cruising is for older people 40 and older. And I was trying to think, Tony as a 20-year-old, say before marriage, before kids, would I have gone to go cruising? And there are things on a cruise ship that I liked in my 20s that I would have liked. I was always into shows and entertainment. I like to see people have a good time. I like music. I like that stuff. So I think I definitely would have enjoyed cruising when I was in my 20s. But to be honest, I don't think I would have enjoyed cruising on, say, Celebrity or Princess when I was in my 20s. I think the personality of those cruise ships fit me better in my mid-40s than they would have in my 20s. So it really made me start to think about cruise ships and cruise lines having personality. And I think there would have been a cruise ship out there for me when I was 20 years old that I would have had a good time on.
Oh, I mean, absolutely, right. And I think I would have enjoyed cruising in my 20s, right? But I think that the lines and some of the other things, I wouldn't have had the patience for at that age. And I think also having gone cruising so much later in life than some people, I appreciate it so much more. I appreciate the beauty of the ocean and just chilling and relaxing and knowing that it's not an all-day party and, those sort of things. I have to kind of stop myself sometimes because the overwhelming feeling of being so grateful to have these opportunities, just kind of just flow sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like you say, you're just in the moment.
Yeah.
And there are some times that in the moment, it just kind of overwhelms you of gratitude.
And you think that's probably a 40s thing, or do you think it's just...
Yeah, because I mean in my 20s, I didn't, I wasn't pompous or anything, but I wasn't so grateful for life and time.
Yeah, I think at that age, not enough stuff's happened to you, right?
Right.
When you get to our age, a lot of life changes happen, right?
Life changes, life experiences, right?
I mean, the people that have been in your life are no longer in your life, just because that's the way the circle of life is, and maybe not so much in your 20s,
well, because you and I know how I am, right? I just always felt I'm going to live forever.
Yeah.
My parents are going to be here forever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, people that are the closest to you start leaving you.
Yeah.
And your life changes.
Yeah.
And your outlook on things change, and your time and the moments in life change.
Yeah.
How you feel about it.
I think I'm more reflective and grateful in my 40s than ever before in my life. And so I do think that brings an interesting perspective to when we're cruising, just being able to have those moments of gratitude. And I tell you what, sometimes the vastness of the ocean, and I mean, you really go to some places that are majestic where you really have a chance to go, this is a lot bigger than me, and I think that really like you're talking about, it really opens your eyes. I don't think I would have been like when I'm 20, I'd be like, where's the next show? Where's the next party?
Right.
Where can I get a cheap drink? How much money do I have left before I can't get anything on my sale and sign? I think those would have been things. Now in our 30s,
you probably would have had sun poisoning back in those days.
I probably would, because I wouldn't have used sunblock.
That's
and
right.
I would have stayed out all day.
Right.
In our 30s, and that's when we met, and we blended a family together of 6 small children, right? And so I'm pretty sure I would not have liked cruising. Super protective, right? I had a buddy that I worked with one time that told me he lost his kid at Walt Disney World. 4-year-old kid, lost him. Had him, lost him, didn't have him for 4 hours, and found him at the front gate of Walt Disney World.
Well, and that reminds me of when one of our sons was younger, he would hide in the middle of the clothes racks.
Right.
And you would call out his name, and you would only find him because you would hear him laughing.
Right.
Because he thought it was funny.
Right. without knowing the paranoia.
It's like, that's not funny.
That's one thing you don't ever want to do
No.
is lose your child. And so
No.
I think I would not have enjoyed cruising with all the kids.
Right.
But during that time, one of our favorite ways to celebrate our anniversary or to vacation would be to go to like a casino, see some shows, have some food, gamble a little bit. I think we could have done that on a cruise ship. So I think very comfortably in our 30s, we could have went cruising.
Right.
I just don't think I would have been a family cruiser because I would have been paranoid that, am I going to lose a kid on the ship? That, there's swimming pools and there's railings and my kids are rambunctious. And I don't think I could have cruised with the kid. I think I would have been a nervous wreck cruising with the kids.
I think so also. I think both of us, right? And I think that for me, it's, get your clothes, let's get dressed, let's go eat. So there's still a lot of being a parent.
Right.
It's
and that's what's wild about vacationing with kids is it's not a vacation. It's not really like a vacation. The cool thing about cruising though is we could have put the kids like in a kids club and it might have opened up some possibilities. But
absolutely. And you know what? It would have given the children also a chance to be, world travelers. So I think that's why in my 40s I so appreciate that time on the cruise ship, right?
And the cool thing is, I am relenting. We have started to add some of our kids to cruising, so I'm very protective. I'm very protective of our cruising together because we've always said that when we got together, we had kids,
right?
And we spent a lot of time
raising and nurturing,
being parents of kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at the end of the day, like I love all of our kids.
Absolutely.
But your life can't be completely about your kids because at some point they're not going to be here.
Right. And you know what?
And that's the situation. That's the situation we've been in. And so if you don't
they're living their life.
If you don't have a connection together, then what do you got?
Right.
And so I'm super protective of this cruise life because I do see it as something that we share together, but it is selfish on my part because I believe our adult children would get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And so we've been fortunate. We got to take one of our daughters on a cruise with us, and we're going to get to cruise with some more of our kids. So slowly we're working it in. But so I think part of our, we didn't cruise in our 20s and 30s. We've cruised some in our late 40s. We'll be cruising in our 50s and our 60s and our 70s.
Right.
What do you think that's going to be like? What do you say? So we got let's look at it in decades, 50 to 60. What do you think that cruise life will be like as a 50-year-old?
I think 50-year-olds.
That's freaking old, man.
No, it's not. Come on.
Yeah.
I think that in our 50s, we're going to be doing a lot of those bucket list cruises, right?
Yeah.
Like the Alaska cruises, the Mediterranean, Australia. I think it's going to be a lot of those kind of cruises. But yet also, the Caribbean, our love, you know. And I think once we get to our 60s and 70s, I want to be on that ship for like 20 days at a time that point.
Retiring on a cruise ship doesn't sound like a bad proposition.
No.
And it might financially make sense.
Absolutely.
That cruise life, folks.
That cruise life.
Well, let's take a moment. Let's take a quick breather and talk a little bit about travel. If you are new and you don't realize, Jenny's main gig coming up is as a travel agent.
Yeah, I'm transitioning.
Jenny has spent a lot of time as a marketing director. And over the last couple of years, the travel bug has really bitten Jenny, and she's a really good travel agent. And so I would encourage you, if you need help with your travel, to reach out to Jenny. It doesn't cost anything. I think that's a misconception that people have, that it costs money to use a travel agent. The cruise lines, they put a little commission in every fare. So if you book a cruise directly with the cruise line, they keep that money. It's free money that they're giving away to travel agents. If you use a travel agent, they get that money, and that's what they get for helping you. So if you have travel questions, if you already have cruises booked and you want somebody to give a little look at them, you can transfer those cruises over to Jenny in some circumstances. So I just want to make a plug for Jenny for Lido Loca Travel. There will be information in the show notes how to make contact with Jenny. And it's important because the next thing we want to talk about is what is it like to go on a cruise, on a Lido Loca group cruise?
Right. Can I just add something in there real quick?
No, this is a very closed format. You're not, no, please.
No, I just wanted, so my email is probably the best way to contact me, right? Because I'm continuously in there going through the queue.
Yes.
So if you do send me a message to Facebook or wherever else, it's going to take a little bit for me to get to that queue.
Yes.
So just send me an email. So much easier.
Yeah, that's true. Like in this overly connected social media world, you can get messages on Facebook and you can get messages on Instagram and you can get DMs on Twitter. You can get messages in a lot of places, but to get in that travel queue and really to be in the flow, your workflow, what you're doing, you primarily work out of your email box.
Right. And I absolutely want to get back to everybody in a timely manner. So that's the best way.
Yeah. And for some reason, it's been a busy week for you. It's
been a super busy week and getting to talk to a lot of different locafam and, just wanting to cruise with everybody on our next group cruises, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So we have some people that have booked all 3 of our group cruises in 21. So my new saying is 21 and 21.
21 and 21. So we do a weekly live show. Again, there's an audio component to this. There's a video component to this. If you want to see this kind of happen in real time where you can ask us questions, we would invite you to our Tuesday night live show, Lido Loca Live. And 2 weeks ago, we announced some cruises. Live. We announced some cruises that kind of filled out our 2020 and 2021 group cruise schedule. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And one of the big ones being our first group cruise to Alaska on the NCL Encore.
Yeah, in June 20th of 21.
And that's had your email box kind of filled up. Now, a lot of people, when they think about going on a group cruise, if you've never gone before, they have the simple question, what is a group cruise?
Right.
Am I going to be forced to do stuff all the time? Is there a strict agenda? Let's take a few minutes and talk.
And everybody does their group cruises differently.
So let's talk specifically about the Lido Loca group cruise. Okay. Let's smash that first misconception.
Smash it. Smash that button.
Do you have to be 100% on task, on schedule every day of your cruise?
We rule with an iron fist.
Iron fist. There's a schedule. If you don't come to it,
doubt it.
You get demerits.
No.
Here's the way the Lido Loca group cruises work. We have a very loose schedule. What we try to do is we talk about things in the way of connection points.
That's right.
We want to give you some connection points. So before we go on the cruise, we'll usually have a group dinner, the first time to get to know each other for the first time.
Right.
That's a connection point. If you can come, great, get to know some people. If you can't, no big deal. Mm-hmm. Then on embarkation day, we have another connection point. We usually do a meet and greet before the muster drill, so you can start making friendships. You can start getting plugged in. On this last meet and greet day, we handed out a loose schedule. Now, on the loose schedule, there were some events that if you wanted to participate, look, I'm a big fan of trophies. I love Carnival Ship on a Stick. And so we have our own trophy called the Boat on a Base.
The Boat on a Base.
And so we take some time on the sea day to do things like have a little putt-putt tournament, or we have a cornhole tournament. We have a karaoke participation award. And all those things you can come and participate, or you don't have to participate. But again, a few more connection points. We had a group slot pull this year as a connection point. And then the main thing that we do to run the thread through the whole cruise is we have the same dining time.
That's right.
So that's the main connection point. If you ever want to know where Jenny and I are at the main dining time, usually early dining, that's where we're at. And so this last cruise, we had 5 or 6 tables.
Right.
And not everybody came to the main dining room every night, but people knew that they could come to the main dining room, and Jenny and I would sit at different tables. We would make sure that we would spend time with everybody and just see how everybody's day was. So really loose like that. Nothing is required, but those are some connection points where you can come and join in. We try to publish where we're going on excursions for anybody who wants to go on an excursion, but really no hard and fast rule of things that you want to do. And then at the end of the day, what we try to do, Jenny and I particularly, is just make ourselves available. So
that's right.
We're not hiding out anywhere. We're all over the cruise ship. And if you have something interesting that you want to do and you see us wandering around, hey, let's go to a show, let's go sit at the slot machine together, we're happy to do it.
That's right.
And that's really all there is to the group cruise. The cool thing about the group cruise is it's twofold. A lot of times you can get good pricing. You can get some sort of amenities like onboard credit. This NCL has a lot of different amenities, drinks, all kinds of stuff. And it is an opportunity to meet other cruisers. This NCL, we've already booked 11 solo travelers. And these people don't know each other now. But in the months to come, as we connect on Facebook, as we get ready for this cruise, they will start making friendships. We've seen it on every group cruise. Friends outside of cruising, friends off the cruise ships are made on these group cruise things. So if it's a good way, I'm introverted, it's a good way for me to meet people. And if you're extroverted, it's also a good way to meet people. Right. We've seen so many friendships come out of these.
And I think that's my favorite part of it, right? Is not only are we building friendships with everybody, but I see the relationships that just blossom from locafam.
Yeah.
And it's just, it warms my heart. It makes me so happy.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Like on our Facebook group, again, there's over 9,000 people there, but you can see the friendships being formed. You'll see somebody say something and now their new friend that they met on the group cruise is now commenting, or, it's really neat to see those virtual connections solidified by when people meet face to face. So it's,
well, and what's kind of cool too, right? Even if you're not on a group cruise, a lot of times when people put out on, Lido Loca cruising community, they'll put out like, hey, I have, 10 days and I'm on the Oasis, and then people pop up from the locafam. Hey, I'm on that same sailing. We should meet up for a drink, or we should meet up. And then, then those people build a friendship as well. We've had a lot of those in the past that, now they are, cruising buddies and they go on every cruise together. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
It's a low stress way to meet.
It's community.
It's a low stress way to meet people on the cruise ship. It is about building community, and it's about getting to hang out with us if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So we would encourage.
And you can do as much as you want with us, or as little as you want.
Absolutely.
Or you can just say, listen, Jenny, I want to go over here. You want to come with me? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we would encourage you, if you want more information on the group cruises, the schedule that we have coming up for 2020 and 2021, you can go to our website, www.lalidoloca.com/group cruise, and you can see everything that we have on the schedule. It's been an exciting week. We just announced 3 new group cruises, and people have been signing up for all 3 of them. So
absolutely.
It's going to be fun. We're going to New Orleans next summer.
We are on the Majesty of the Sea. I'm so excited.
Fun. Going to Alaska.
That's like their oldest and smallest ship in the fleet, but I'm pretty excited, because we were on one of their biggest in their fleet. So it's kind of exciting to check out their smaller, more intimate.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Intimate donuts?
No, intimate.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like intimate donuts.
That's intimate, isn't it?
I don't know.
Entenmann's. That's what it's called. Entenmann's.
You know what those chocolate donuts look like?
Good.
They look like poop. Are we still talking about...
Why are you still talking about poop?
I'm not talking about poop. Jenny, you know what you remind me of, though, when you get your hair all dolled up?
What's that?
You remind me of my fairy godmother.
Fairy godmother?
Yes.
Who's your fairy godmother?
I don't know, but she looks like you when your hair's all dolled up. No, I was trying to segue. It was a little stumbly segue. Okay. Trying to segue into an interesting news story. I don't know if it's interesting. Okay, it's interesting. Carnival Panorama is getting ready to set sail. She's getting ready to go through all of the fun things that they do before she sails. Mm-hmm. And one of them is to be christened by her godmother.
I'm a godmother.
I know. That's what I said. You're my fairy godmother, like when your hair's all dolled up.
Oh, I thought you said fairy godmother.
Yes, you're my fairy godmother.
No, not favorite.
No, not favorite. I don't even know if I have a godmother. I'm sure I do. What does a godmother do? Anyways, when it comes to the cruise ship, guess who's going to be the godmother for the Panorama?
Who?
I'll give you a hint.
What?
She turns letters.
Oh, does she turn heads too?
I don't know. She might turn heads.
Is it Vanna White?
It's Vanna White from the Wheel of Fortune.
I'm sure back in her day she turned some heads too.
I'm so excited about Vanna White. These
what
cruise
excites
ships,
you about that? What excites you about the godparents of a ship?
It's cool. Like they're just, like
what's the cool factor?
I don't know, because they're famous. I don't know.
Yeah,
That may seem a little shallow, but let me tell you why Vanna White's important.
Okay.
Last week I spent some time with my mom.
Right.
We were watching TV and Wheel of Fortune came on. I haven't seen Wheel of Fortune in forever. Just a quick aside: Pat Sajak's like 73 years old.
Wow.
He's still working. I couldn't figure out why Pat Sajak at 73 years old is still working.
Right.
You figured the dude's got plenty of money, right?
Absolutely.
I watched him do his job for a half hour.
Yeah.
I understand why Pat Sajak's still working. It looks like the easiest. Give me the check. But Vanna's still turning letters. I think she's close to 70. But so I watched that and I thought, wow, I haven't watched Wheel of Fortune in a long time. I watched Alex Trebek on Jeopardy.
Right.
My thoughts go out to Alex Trebek. He's a trooper. He's still doing that show and he's battling cancer.
That's right.
Terminal cancer.
I know.
So Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. And then I came home and I saw the announcement that Vanna White was going to be the godmother of the panorama. We're going on the panorama.
Yeah, in March.
It's the universe telling me something, Jenny.
What?
I think it's the universe telling me that our panorama cruise is going to be awesome because I saw Vanna White on TV and then Vanna White was the godmother.
No.
You got no love for Vanna White?
I mean, I don't have any ill for Vanna White, but I mean, like, what does the godmother even do on the ship, right? Does she get to go on free cruises? Is it because she's famous and that's why they're making her the godmother? Does she love cruising? You know, what? Does she love sailing? Why are these... Wouldn't it be cool if you and I were a godparent to a ship?
That would be cool.
Elvis Duran is a godfather.
Right. Why is that exciting?
Well, I mean, because it's the NCL Bliss that you love, duh.
Yeah, but who's Elvis Duran? Why is that exciting?
No, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, wouldn't it be just cool if a ordinary like cruiser?
But wait a minute, you like the fact that Elvis Duran is the godparent of the NCL?
I mean,
Bliss.
only because he talks about it, right? Like he's continuously talking
and
about
who is
his
Elvis Duran?
godship.
Who is Elvis Duran?
He's a DJ
out of New York,
right?
So Vanna White's no good, but somehow...
Yeah, but are you going to hear Vanna White talking about the ship all day? No. Like, you know, make us some godparents and I'll talk about that ship all day long. I'll talk about my ship child.
Vanna White's going to be the godmother of the panorama.
Wouldn't you talk about a ship child?
Believe that.
That's what I'm going to call it. I want to be a godmother so I can have a ship child.
Jenny, this is episode 2 of the podcast. We are on
just like
many of the podcasting platforms.
On Chocolate Factory. I want a ship child.
Settle down, Veruca Salt. Episode 2, a lot of people went out. They gave us some good reviews on iTunes.
Yes, it was so lovely.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thanks for all the
thank
positive
you.
feedback. If you have any questions that you would like us to cover on the show, send an email to questions@lidoloca.com. I think that's going to do it. I'm a little disappointed with Jenny's disapproval of Vanna White.
It's not that I'm... Listen, they have Oprah, they have Vanna, they have Elvis. Who else do they have? They have...
Kelly Clarkson.
I mean, Kelly Clarkson, absolutely.
All those people from the Love Boat for the Princess ships.
Right.
Sophia Loren.
Lido Loca.
Sophia Loren.
Lido Loca.
MSC does it right. Okay.
Hey, doesn't MSC have, like, Mr. Worldwide?
I don't know.
Or is he an NC? He's a godfather to one of the ships.
Is he?
Yeah.
I think we've said it all.
Okay.
All right, guys.
I want a ship child.
Thank you so much for coming by the podcast. You can get it in video form. Don't forget, go over to YouTube if you want to see the video. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'd love to hear some feedback. Again, if you want to represent the Loca fam, there's some merch. I'll leave a link to our T-shirts down there. Rep the fam. What else, Jenny? Book some travel.
Book some travel and...
Go on a group cruise. Watch some videos.
Well, listen, you know, you're always talking
podcasts.
about how cool it is for you to see me do my thing. Listen, I think it's as equally as cool watching you do your thing. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, whatever it takes to get off the Vanna White conversation, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Do you think we should get out of the Porter line? All right, guys. Thanks so much for stopping by.
I love you,
My
Tony.
name's Tony.
I love you, Tony.
My name's Tony.
And I'm Jenny who loves Tony.
I love you too. And until the next time.
We'll see you on the Lido.
We'll see you on the Lido.
Bye.
Bye.